This episode of the Nerf Herder Council is brought to you by Audible. Visit audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download.
I'm Kevin Thompson. I'm Chubray from Return of the Jedi. You're listening to the Nerf Herder Council.
Warning: the following podcast contains irreverent humor, exceptionally nerdy opinions, potential cursing, and plenty of love for the prequels. If any of the preceding offends you, please turn off this podcast immediately, and may the Force be with you.
Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder!
You can't use that word! Only we can use that word!
You're tuned in to the Nerf Herder Council, your source for Star Wars opinion, conversation, and debate. Featuring your hosts, JT.
Stormtrooper armor deflects everything except Orback hooves. They're like a horse version of Thomas the Tank Engine.
AJ.
Yeah, Rebels is a lot like our show, where we think we have a good idea and then it just fails in execution.
Steve.
The vacuum of space does crazy things to your beehole out there, man.
On this episode of the Nerf Herder Council, we bring Steve's wife Gwen on for an in-depth conversation about the Rise of Skywalker.
This is the Nerf Herder Council.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. I am your host, JT. With me are AJ and Steve, and back again for take two, which will now only be take one.
Well, no, she did the one with me, so it is take two. Take three, if you do count the lost episode.
Yes. But Steve's wife, Gwen, is with us. She apparently wants to nerd out with us and talk more Star Wars, because how many times have you guys seen Rise of Skywalker now?
I'm probably on 4. She's got to be more than that.
Yeah, I'm like 6 or 7, I think.
This is an official reversal.
I think this makes you the expert, yeah.
Because usually it's us seeing it a billion times and you guys are like, we saw it once, we can't get a babysitter.
Well, 10 minutes on Google, it's not too hard to find Episodo 9 on the internet. So.
Oh, boy. It's got to look like crap, right?
Actually, there's a really good one up now that's like 720p, but it's got like Korean subtitles on the bottom, but you kind of forget about that about 5-6 minutes into the movie. You don't recognize it anymore.
You just
really
pretend
don't.
it's Orabesh or something.
Yeah,
I might have to look that up. I don't generally do that, but
screw it. They got enough money.
See, we're part of the problem. These diminishing returns. Force Awakens made like $2 billion. Last Jedi made $1 billion, and this one might get there. And,
well, no, it made $1.2 billion, and now this one's about to cross $1 billion.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for the box office update.
Moving on.
But yeah, that's the typical thing. It's like the first one of the trilogy makes the most, and it is diminishing returns from there. And I think that's our attendance record too, right? Like, I know I saw seven times. I don't know how many you saw it, JT.
I think it was 11.
It was a crap ton. So yeah, we're definitely part of that 2 billion. Last Jedi was a handful of times, right?
I saw it like 8 or 9.
Okay. And then I'm on 3 viewings of
I'm still
Rise
on
of
2.
Skywalker.
I have not had time.
You're so not a fan.
Dude, I've been so busy with the holidays, it's not even funny, so.
As of yesterday, it's at 936 worldwide, so.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're not doing that bad. They'll be all right.
So, for any of you who have not listened, AJ put up an instant react on Nerf Herder Council After Dark. Steve and Gwen did theirs on Nerf Herder After Dark.
Yep.
And I decided to see if I could actually upload a show, so I did mine on the actual main show just to see if it would work, and by some miracle, I actually did it, complete with music, which took me a hell of a long time to do, but
Oh, by the way, anyone who doesn't know about the Nerf Herder After Hours thing, it's got almost nothing on there, but that's on Spreaker. So that does not get posted to the normal podcast platforms. So if you don't know what the heck we're talking about, you got to go to Spreaker.com and check us out there.
Yeah, Nerf Herder Council After Hours. Sorry, not After Dark. But yeah, there's content there if you haven't heard it. So not a lot, but we do use that for occasional posts, like once every year and a half.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to use that to like blast stuff. Yeah, since no one's really going to find it, like just when you're really pissed off about something, like I don't know, after you read Twitter.
Yeah, it's for if we're drunk or if we're at a convention or if we've just seen a movie and can't get together to record with other people.
Yes, I completely agree. So
maybe we should just call it Nerf Herder Rough Draft.
Oh, there you go.
Because something in it is rough, either the production, the hosts, or the ideas.
I like it.
I do too.
Yeah. So what we wanted to do was actually all four of us get together again and just discuss the Rise of Skywalker. Obviously, it's a very divisive movie, which I don't think is a surprise to anybody, because God forbid a Star Wars movie comes out and half of the world doesn't just go, this has a million problems. So I just, real quick, again, we'll start with our very brief reviews. Fuck you. I love it. So there's a marker for you, buddy.
New year, no edits.
Oh, there we go.
Hashtag no edits.
Yeah. So yeah, I hate
Welcome
seeing
to
all
2020 on the Nerf Herder Council.
Right. I hate seeing all the whining about it. It drives me nuts. The things that people nitpick are just the stupidest things, and I'm like, can you just not have fun with a movie? Like, there's so many cool things to see, and instead you're talking about filmmaking and plot holes, and it's like, dude, it's space wizards. Shut up. Yeah, I know you're going to
It's literally the two things I just brought up.
I know.
Right before the mic started rolling.
I know. Well, you're a douchebag. What can I say? So I loved it. So what do you think, Steve?
I loved it too. I still love it. Little problems the more that I watch it. I didn't like the ending because I feel like it was just a tease that there should be more about this and Rey and everything now that she's going off on her own. Now I kind of have a little problem with the fact that Finn is clearly Force sensitive. So the fact that they're not going to explore that at all is a little weird to me. I mean, it's probably going to be in books or something, but
I thought that was unnecessary, and I thought the character of Jaina was unnecessary too.
Yeah.
They could have just filled that time with Rose. I like that character, and that would have satiated fans that like the character.
And honestly,
from episode 8.
I'm perfectly fine with Finn being Force sensitive. It's just the fact that you're not going anywhere with these characters anymore. That makes it basically, like you said, completely useless.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are basically my only problems with the movie. Swear to God, because like you said, it's stupid space opera, for Christ's sake. Like, there's no reason to hate these things or get all uppity about nitpicking everything. It's
just watch it to have fun, not rip it apart.
Enjoy a goddamn movie. Just enjoy a goddamn movie.
I'm about to make you feel stupid for saying that. Okay,
no.
Look,
it's not your turn. It's Gwen's turn.
He's still mad that Hux is dead.
I want to address Steve's point about Finn's Force sensitivity being unnecessary.
Okay.
I would say it's the equivalent of Leia coming out as Luke's sister and having, the Force knowledge that she's always known in Return of the Jedi. It was some curveball in the last film of a trilogy.
Yeah.
And at the time, we didn't think we were getting any more Princess Leia.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I point for me.
I mean, the only problem is we didn't know back then. Now we know for certain. I mean, that the new trilogy is supposed to be what, prequel or something like that? Is that even confirmed?
They haven't announced anything.
Couple centuries before is the rumor.
So I mean, I guess there's maybe after that trilogy comes out, somebody can say, "Hey, let's go explore Finn and Poe and come back to it 10 years later or something," and who knows, maybe.
Yeah, there's definite plans to not put the franchise down.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe I'll feel better about that if they actually explore this further down the line, I guess.
I just chalk it up to one of those things that they can't explain everything. So what did you think, Gwen? Obviously, you're a big fan because you were back down here talking about it.
Absolutely. I loved it the first time through. I loved it more watching it over and over again. Pretty sure that my husband is sick of talking Star Wars with me at this point because I keep bringing up things and then finding an answer to my question and then talking it over with him and then coming up with another question, which leads to more research. He's so over it, I think.
I would kill for Disney Plus to release one of these new Marvel series already.
Yeah. So, yeah, I loved it.
Can we get the Loki series already, please?
Right. Yeah. So he's pretty sick of talking Star Wars with me. And everybody I know is sick of talking Star Wars with me. So I'm pretty happy to have people to talk with that aren't going to be complete douches and actually listen and give a real conversation.
Give it time. We're only 9 minutes into this thing.
Well, but okay, so let's flash back to Christmas Eve and my brother. Okay, my brother went absolutely. I don't know what dark web page he was on reading this crap that they were trying to portray Rey as Jesus because the lightsaber fight on the Death Star, she wasn't wet. It signifies walking on water. Like, I could not believe the garbage coming out of his mouth. And he literally turned around and said, okay, we get it. You like Rey because she's a girl, which absolutely, let me tell you, I almost killed him because original Star Wars trilogy did not like Leia. We had that conversation before. Did not like Leia, like Darth Vader. So clearly, Darth Vader's not a chick. Original trilogy. The Jedi I liked was Mace Windu, and then I liked Darth Maul. Again, no vagina, all dudes. So the very thought that I just like her because she's a chick is incredibly insulting to me as a nerdy chick. I like the characters I like because I'm drawn to them. And the fact that she's a Palpatine just makes so much sense as to why I actually liked her because I always end up liking the bad guys. So yeah, I'm excited to talk and I loved it. And now it's your turn, AJ. I'll shut up.
Nice.
I'm somewhere in between all of you guys actually because I've been
shut up. So what I thought was
damn, okay, apparently it's Slam AJ year. 2020.
You represent Twitter tonight. If you have a negative opinion of the movie, you're going to get killed.
We wouldn't know what my opinion is. I haven't been able to say it yet.
You didn't say that you loved it.
Which signifies the Twitter thing of me muting and blocking people who I don't like their opinions.
And mute. No, go ahead. Sorry.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Interrupting cow. John. There you go. That's a twofer.
Well played.
All right, first fat joke of the year. Now that we've got that out of the way, all right. So, no, I'm in the middle of all of you guys as far as your reviews. I actually think it's a great movie. Love it to death. And I'm going to maintain my first take that we didn't manage to get out there, which is I see the flaws, I just don't care about them.
Yeah.
Which is perfectly okay. And I think that's good. If you can tell that a movie is goofy and makes no sense in parts, and you're still entertained, even with that knowledge, I don't think that there's a better praise than that.
Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Like I said earlier, you know, the Finn being force sensitive, you don't really need that. The character of Janna just really was superfluous to me. Again, you could have filled that time with Rose and that would have been fine because that was a cool character they established in episode 8. But I mean,
the only thing that makes sense with that character is, and it doesn't make sense in the movie, is the last scene with her and Lando, and that's just because Gwen shared the story with me of what the visual dictionary said.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so he sees kind of his daughter in her, and even if it's not her, you can see that spin-off almost of like you're going to take Lando and her and go search the First Order refugees, whatever, deserters, whatever you want to call them. But you don't get that from the movie, though. Again, it's that complaint we usually have that you have to go read something to understand what is. Because in the theater, when you watch that, immediately you're just like, okay, Lando's trying to bang her.
It felt more fatherly to me.
Like, other than that, you're just like, what the hell was the point of that? Like, why did you stop and give 2 minutes of the film that, and it makes no sense to everything we just watched, so but you could have did everything she did with Rose and not had that scene at the end, and it would have made perfect sense still.
There is a reason that that ended up that way. I read on IGN that Rose did have more scenes with Leia, and they just didn't work in the context of the movie.
Yeah, and they couldn't get him to look good.
Yeah, so they
release the JJ cut.
Oh my God, don't get me started.
It's so hard to go on Twitter with this stuff because the crap that people are talking, and you know what's funny, when you go up against them, they don't fight back. There was another podcast, I forget which one it is, and they, like, with the first couple days the movie was out, every single friggin' tweet was some snarky thing about how it sucked and some side of the mouth remark and just trying to be witty. And I finally responded to one. I said, man, you really effing hate this movie, don't you? Oh, well, no, it's not that. I have some conviction. Every single one of your goddamn tweets is crapping on the movie. Just say, yeah, I thought it sucked. You know, I can't stand, I mean, honest to God, like, I'm going to make a burner account and I'm just going to get blocked and like 8,000 times. I'm just going to start crushing people because I hate it. It's so frustrating. It is so frustrating.
It amazes me how triggered you get over Twitter. It's Twitter. You know what you're doing by going in there.
I know. It's my own fault. It's my own fault.
You've seen Wreck-It Ralph 2, right?
I haven't seen Wreck-It Ralph 1. Much less 2.
You're kidding.
Okay.
I don't care.
You're fucking kidding.
I don't
You've
have
got
little
Disney
kids.
Plus, man.
I don't have little kids to watch the movie. I don't.
Actually, is it on Disney Plus or is it still Netflix?
I don't know. The second one's on Netflix because we just watched it earlier today. But if you like video games, right? You like video games. You play video games.
You know what else I like is the Rise of Skywalker. Back on
great.
track.
No, you need to watch that movie though. Now I'm going to nag you about it.
All right,
Stay on target.
I'll catch you. I'll catch you up real fast on what I was saying. There in the second movie, he ends up going into. He goes into the internet, right?
Yeah.
So it's this big personification of the internet, and he ends up going into the comments section on their version of YouTube, and of course crushes his spirit because. Yeah. So come on, man! You know this is what happened.
I know and I get suckered in. It's my own fault. The way that people interact is just disgusting, and it's sad. I mean, now the big thing is people taking breaks because of all this stuff. It's like people just can't have a conversation, and whatever. On
the positive side, everybody's doing the Ben Solo challenge on.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, I just caught that today. And
is that just like trying to pull something from behind your back?
Pulling the lightsaber and then doing the Han Solo shrug afterwards.
How does stuff like this go viral?
Well, I'd much rather see that than all the negative crap. So,
that's true.
I'd say at least it's a positive.
That's true. That's true.
Like, I don't do it a lot on Twitter. I do more on Facebook. But I'm part of quite a few different fan groups, and literally there was a challenge today on one of the fan groups. Even if you hated The Last Jedi, say something positive about it.
Yeah.
Even if you hated Rise of Skywalker, say something positive about it. I didn't even get to go into the comments because, it shows you a preview at the bottom. And there were people saying, I can't find a single positive thing to say about it. And it's like, you can't even say you like the music. Like, you really can't find one thing you like about that movie. Even if you hate the movie to death, dude, the lightsaber fighting scene in the throne room was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, how can you not say that was not cool? You know what I mean? Like, it's literally just people trying to be nasty.
I'm firmly convinced that these are the people that every year on Facebook on New Year's goes, I'm going to make this year good.
Yep.
Because the last year was so crappy. And everything was terrible, but I'm going to turn it around. So what you're saying is every fucking year of your life has been a bag of shit. Because it's the same post every year. Like, no one ever goes on there and goes, man, my 2019 was awesome. I'll have some more of that, please. It's everything was crappy. Like, oh my God.
You know what I need? I avoided negativity so bad in 2019. I'm going to welcome some of it in 2020 just to balance it back out.
All right. So I'll off of the negative internet, all that garbagey stuff. I have my pound of flesh a little bit. Yeah. So anyways, the Janna character I thought was kind of didn't really need it. The Finn with the Force sensitivity. Okay. All in all though, I loved how they handled the things that they had to explain. And I know that there people are saying that they wish they would have explained more stuff. I'm like, there's really not a lot of room in the movie to explain anything else. It was already 2 hours, God, 2.5 hours
went by
long.
so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, It's and to your point on that, the first time I saw it, I was like, oh my God, this is moving a mile a minute, which I was fine with that. I kind of figured it would have to. And it slowed down the second time I saw it. So that was cool. I just thought it was kind of like Solo to me, where it was just a really fun movie.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't, yeah, I mean, it was just like, and again, I've told this to so many people. I feel like, and I think I said this in my review, it's probably because I feel like the movie was written for me. There's so much fan service that I feel like it's for like the super fans, and they're like, hey man, thanks for being a fan for so long. Here's all those cool things you liked in Star Wars over the years, all in one big pile in 2.5 hours. Like, okay, cool. You get Force lightning and Jedi powers and lightsabers and space battles and, you know, all kinds of stuff.
Babu Frick.
Yeah. Yeah. Babu Frick was awesome. I love Dio. I know, AJ, you're not a Dio fan, but, you know.
I prefer Ozzy.
Well played. So, yeah,
we got Gwen and I got a special place for Dio. Just the first moment that it speaks in the movie, and I lean over to Gwen and I go, that's Roland. So now every time I watch the movie, I'm like, Dio's a little autistic droid.
You think they did that on purpose?
I don't know. You know,
and if you don't think so, the moment that he looks at the horse and goes, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, that's the moment right there.
That's an Orback, Steve. It is an Orback.
The space horse.
Yeah, Maddie called them. Yeah, Madison, our daughter, called them space ponies. But no, I absolutely agree with that. I did try to see if since JJ did the voice for Dio, I tried to see if he had his hands in anything for autism awareness, because I thought the same thing. Maybe it was intentional. Steve and I are not the only people who thought that. Having a kid on the spectrum, I'm part of a bunch of like autism support groups, and another mom posted the exact same thing. She's like, "Oh my God, it was my kid," right. And I was like, okay, so it's not just me reading into something like that. I'm the only one that sees this. So, you know, other people who deal with autism daily feel it as well. JJ did some work with fundraising for autism awareness. I don't remember what it was for, but it was only like one thing. So I don't know that it was intentional based on that, but I'm going to say it is. It'll be canon in my life.
It works for us. So
see, this is one of the coolest things, and this is what a lot of people forget about when they're busy, you know, launching their tirades on Twitter and stuff. Is like, obviously did not make that connection with Dio and autism, but you did because you have an autistic child. And, you know, people resonate with different characters and different facets of Star Wars all over. And like, we all get a different experience from the same movie because we paint a little bit of ourselves into our viewing experience. And I think it's so cool because like, I'm particularly bad at seeing other people's points of view and walks of life. You know, I mean, we've argued about Chief Wahoo and stuff like, why are they so upset about Chief Wahoo? Well, I'm not a Native American, so I don't understand what it's like to be offended by a stereotype, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's cool as like a reminder that there are other people out there and you can have totally different points of view on the same thing. And you all enjoy it just as equally, just from for different reasons and from different standpoints. I think it's a great starting point for a conversation.
Yeah. I would agree. I didn't take that away from it. I thought it was like a little kid, almost like almost like a toddler.
BB-8 always came off as more of a toddler to me, especially in episode 7 when he's bumping into R2 at the end to try to wake him up and everything. I'm like, that's totally a kid going, mommy, 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 mommy.
Yeah, there's like a super innocence about him, right?
I thought he was a cool droid. That's, you know, again, I watch these movies from the perspective of like a 7-year-old, so I really do.
We love BB-8 in our house. Oh gosh, I should show you guys too. I know it's a little off topic. Roland got a Yoda towel, like it's a hooded towel, so it's got Yoda ears and little fuzz coming out.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
And then you put your hands. So he put it on the other day, and he ran out into the living room and grabbed his drumsticks and his little R2-D2, and he started banging on it, singing "Seagull, Stop It Now."
Oh, it's great! Are you kidding
I'm
me?
not even kidding, dude. It was the cutest. Yeah, seriously, the cutest thing ever. And he does it. He has that little thermos, a little R2-D2 thermos, and he'll bang on that and he'll sing, "Stop it now, please don't hit me." And it's like the cutest thing ever, dude. It's so awesome. But yeah, Yoda's big with him, and he loves BB-8. That silly BB-8 rollout YouTube video. He only watches the first episode. but man, he loves it. And then he started asking me about characters in it. I'm like, oh, I don't know, because they're just like random creatures.
Yeah.
And literally, looking it up on Wikipedia, the one is literally listed as unnamed random creature. I'm like, okay, well, sorry, he doesn't have a name. It's like a little changeling lizard thing at the end.
They just spelled it with a bunch of different like Y's and
Right.
Right?
like that guy in episode 2, Sleaze Bagano.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You should shoot some emails and stuff. Maybe they'll name it after.
I should. Honestly, well, because it literally says like unnamed species, like unknown. I'm like, okay,
Like
cool.
Planet Stew John for Jon Stewart.
Right.
Right.
So Gwen, you've been looking up a whole bunch of articles, and you know
Yeah.
way more behind the scenes explanations than I do. Actually, I thought I was all over this stuff. Have you come across anything that explains why R2 was flying with Poe in that final battle instead of BB-8?
No, I have.
I thought
not
that was
found
weird.
anything.
I caught that in like the third viewing. I'm like, BB-8 is Poe's droid. Shouldn't BB-8 be the guy in the X-wing? I mean, I love that R2 got in there and got in the action, but they never really had a connection. It was weird to put R2
on
in
the
there.
Falcon?
BB-8 is actually fighting alongside Finn and Janna.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
I think
yeah,
that might
I-
literally be it.
Oh,
It's
you
just
know-
that they couldn't justify R2 going that fast.
Yeah, and
Oh yeah.
'Cause, yeah, I didn't connect that, but it was at the very end.
I would've
watching
just given him his
BB-8
prequel jets.
leave with
Yeah.
Rey that I was like, hey, wait a minute, isn't that Poe's droid? Like, but I didn't even think about the battle part actually.
yeah, because rumored online that whatever I can't remember exactly what he did. He zapped something, cut something, whatever BB-8 had done there was edited in from some other scene that they took out. They put him in instead, supposedly. So that's my only guess, is they needed somebody that could actually haul some ass on top of
Yeah.
the
Well, it makes
the
sense.
ship.
I would have absolutely, you know, I said I wanted to see more callbacks in this movie, and like we didn't get enough already, but
Yeah.
I want to see R2's damn prequel jets. That guy has jets, and he never gets to use them after episode 3.
Well, you know they can't do
I know
that
he's
because
getting older, but
because then people will go, "Oh, that was in the prequels, and the prequels suck." Like,
Oh.
you know, that's what's going to happen. So, you know,
come on,
Why are they putting prequel fodder in my sequel trilogy?
this is getting more.
as far as I know, the only prequel stuff was getting the voices of those Jedi. Like, what else was from the prequels in this movie? Mustafar?
yeah.
Which wasn't even announced as such. So, I mean, unless you check out the visual dictionary,
Yeah.
you wouldn't know that was Mustafar at the beginning.
Yeah, the first battle with Kylo.
Palpatine was in the prequels. so.
Yeah, actually, I
Yeah,
was
seriously.
just effing thinking that, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to say that because it's the dumbest thing to say. And
Well,
my husband says it.
Well, I mean,
Well, that's what I'm here for. It's why I got invited to do the podcast anyways.
I mean, they completely rehashed the line in its entirety from episode 3. Like,
Yeah.
the dark side is a pathway to many abilities. Some consider
Yeah.
it unnatural. I thought that. Speaking of unnecessary, like he's like halfway through the line, and I'm going, I know,
Right.
unnatural pathway. Go, come on.
Anybody who's going to get that callback knows it already. You don't have to go through the whole line.
Yeah.
Then when the lightning flashes or whatever, and you see Palpatine's face for the first time, and he's looking Ben in the eyes, and he goes, "Have you heard the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise?"
Yeah. Kylo looks at him and goes, "Is it possible to learn this power?" Oh, come on!
That's the JJ cut, is the 2.5 hour explanation of Plagueis.
using
And then the rest of
nothing
the
but
movie
quotes
is-
from the prequels.
Yeah, and then the rest of the movie is identical.
You want to talk about a great callback, though? How about the Han Solo cameo?
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That dialogue was so
So-
perfect.
It was.
That's still something I don't understand. Like, is the Leia part of that? Like, I've read that she kind of put that into his head, into
Yeah.
Kylo's head, and then suppose she used her power to go into Kylo for the final battle, and that's why she died. I was like, wasn't she already under a sheet?
Well,
That's
she
the one thing I
was-
noticed. Like, she was under a sheet, and then when I think it was when Kylo dies, then she goes,
Yeah,
like,
simultaneously.
I was like, wait a minute, like, what? Was she dead or was she not dead? Like, what the heck? Like,
She was napping.
Yeah, right.
I
So
thought she was dead.
Maybe they were sharing life force until they both passed. I don't know.
Okay, well, I mean, that would make sense.
I will level with you. Steve didn't bring that up, and nobody else that I was talking Star Wars with brought it up. So I don't really have any insight in there. But my personal thought, because when she goes to lay down, she lays down with Han's medal and is holding that.
Yeah.
So she totally used her force powers to project him there to talk to Ben to bring him back, and she didn't fully remember. They said that her son's death is when her Jedi training is going to be complete and she's done. So she was not going to disappear to become one with the Force until Ben actually died. So I think it's kind of like a comatose thing. Like she laid down to die, didn't really do anything.
What if she was dead? She's waiting for him to complete his Jedi training, and it takes years and years. They've got this stinking, rotting corpse sitting there, and they're walking around going, "God damn it, we got to do something about this. Can that guy just turn already? Good Lord, she turned years ago."
Right?
They just keep putting fans in there to keep blowing the stink out the other way.
A crap load of Febreze candles around her. Like, oh my God. Like now it smells like death and flowers.
They just start letting all the space horses take craps over by the entrance of the cave, so to try to mask the stink of the dead body.
Like the hair still grows when you're dead, so all you see is like two big buns sticking out. Out of the sheet.
So, what did you guys think of the Leia storyline in this?
I loved it.
I thought it was, I think I said before that I thought Leia went and did training with Luke. Honestly, I think when we had a previous podcast, I brought that up.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, I mean, and I
thought
think
it fit.
And I think that's been mentioned everywhere.
That was a rumor we talked about on the show. Yeah.
I mean, that's, it was rumored to be in the movie, but then I think we all knew that would have to be shown at some point because, just having her have the Force at all the way she did in the other two movies is like, well, they can't just have it. She just guessed.
That was actually super well predicted because I remember putting together that thumbnail and it looks almost like a scene from the movie. And all it was, fan art that I Googled for the show a month or two before the movie came out.
You know what I find funny about the training scene, like the flashback? There's a lot of people going, I don't like that because it looks like crap. That CGI is terrible. It's not CGI. It's unused footage from Return of the Jedi. That's actual 1983 footage of Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher.
Nobody's buying it, dude. Drop it.
No. I'm being dead serious.
I was reading earlier today that it wasn't CGI, but Leia was her daughter. The one that's actually in Star Wars movie.
It was totally
I forget her name, Billy
body
Lord.
doubles and face grafting for sure. Yeah.
No, I read that it's unused footage from Return of the Jedi. I'm being dead serious on that. I read that. But to his point, I did see a headline on an article on Google yesterday. It said like Billy Lord played Leia at some point. I didn't click on the article, so I don't know.
Yeah,
but I'm being dead serious. I read that it was unused footage from Jedi.
Flashback.
No, I can totally prove that it's not.
Why?
Lightsaber effects.
What?
You know I'm a nerd for lightsaber effects, dude. No real character ever had light from a lightsaber cast on them until the sequel trilogy.
They can add it in post, you idiot.
They're not going to do that.
Why not? You've got to be kidding me. So they have actual footage of them at that age fighting and training, and they're not going to go in and fix it up? They're just going to leave it crappy or something?
Oh, you mean like the empty cockpit in the pod race of Sebulba?
That was a mistake they forgot, and they left it in because it's like a fan, like Easter egg. That's a whole different thing.
Or when they remastered everything for Blu-ray? Or when they went back and inserted McClunky?
What's your point?
They can clearly go back and fix stuff, and they're not fixing lightsabers. So if it has a glow on a real person's face, that means it's not old footage.
They can put the glow on their face, is what I'm saying. Why is this so hard for you?
They've never done it before, is my point.
Oh, so because they've never done it before, they're not going to do it ever. I get it.
No,
that makes perfect sense.
No, they are not. They could have done so many things with Leia in this movie by other digital means or whatever, and they decided to stick with the footage they had and not mess with it too much, right? So you're saying they're going to go back and mess with 1983 footage, but not the 2015 footage.
They did mess with the 2015 footage.
Oh, did they add a lightsaber glow to it?
She didn't have a lightsaber in Force Awakens and Last Jedi.
Well, right, but I'm just saying, I mean, if they're going to, go back and add lightsaber glows to old footage.
I don't understand what the hell your damn point is.
My point is that it doesn't look at all like 1983 footage, and I've never heard of a deleted scene of Luke training Leia. And it sure as hell doesn't look like the way Jedi behaved in Return of the Jedi. Like
I said unused footage, not deleted scene.
What's the difference?
That they never made a scene out of it. They just filmed it and never finished it. A deleted scene is a finished scene.
Okay, so anyway, my point is, I don't think, based on what took place in that scene, that there's a chance in hell that was George Lucas in 1983 doing that.
Well, that's what I read. That's what I'm saying. I just can't believe you don't think they would like CG it up to like fix it so that it looks like it's supposed to be as part of the movie. How else would they do it? It's filmed in 1982. The rest of this was filmed in 2018. I mean, what are you going to do? It's a 36-year gap between filming techniques. You got to do something. I mean, look what they did with Rogue One. They had the unused footage from Episode 4, and that wasn't deleted scenes. It was unused footage. It's the same thing.
Steve's Googling something.
I swear,
so while y'all are talking.
I'm
so you
blanking
know.
out. I swear they've used old footage and stuff before, and they didn't clean it up at all. It just kind of sat there looking like it originally did, even though it stuck out compared to the other stuff. I can't remember what the example is.
No,
but
I mean, like I say, they, Red Leader in Rogue One, but they cleaned it up so that it looked like it fit seamlessly. So, I mean, there's that.
Maybe. I thought it looked Rogue One-ish. I thought, like, Leia especially looked very much like the end of Rogue One. There's some uncanny valley going on there where it's photo perfect, but it just doesn't look right.
Yeah, I thought it looked a little funky, which is why when they said it was 83 footage, I was like, and maybe the article I read was wrong, but I'm with you. It did look a little bit funky.
Actually, you know what it looked like? It looked like Clue in Tron Legacy.
Yeah, that's a perfect example.
It looked like early de-aging, not like Marvel quality de-aging.
Yes, that's a perfect example. Yes. Man, speaking of that,
I'm seeing both of them now. Screen Rant says Rise of Skywalker's Leia flashback used Return of the Jedi footage, and then a ton of things just saying Billy Lord did the flashback scene. So
one of them's in the JJ cut, the other one isn't.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm totally going to buy that stupid visual Star Wars book, and I'll tell you if it's in there after I read it.
Well, 2 days ago, Screen Rant says it's Return of the Jedi footage. 1 day ago, the same website says it's Billy Lord. So,
yeah. Who knows?
Oh, people.
It can be both.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all patchwork, so.
Yeah. So, since people are talking about plot holes and everything, that seems to be like a common thread of.
Ooh, are we segueing into Leia's saber being on Ahch-To?
Yeah, like, what plot holes did you guys see? Because so far, I've enjoyed it so much. Like, I guess I see them. I just haven't gotten down into the nitty gritty yet to really like. Excuse me, like you just said, like the Leia's saber being on Ahch-To type of thing.
Are my complaints of the end of the movie technically plot holes, or is that just?
No, that's not a plot hole.
Say, like, since it's the end, does it count as a plot hole? Like having the Rey's new lightsaber and Finn force sensitive and doing nothing with it. Is that a plot hole?
Question. Where did Rey's crystal come from for her saber? Like, I read some rumors online that she cut open Luke and Leia's sabers and took the crystals out of those to make her saber. And the crystals are supposed to change based on the Jedi that's handling them. I also know that Ahsoka learned to heal crystals. You know what I mean? So that is totally kind of like a plot hole.
If she took Luke and Leia's saber, that means she was just burying garbage in the desert.
Well, exactly. That is exactly the point. That is why she buried them and said, "See you when I see you," because now they're completely useless. She has her saber, and she's going to go off and be lonely in the desert with BB-8.
Oh, so this is sleight of hand, like when Yoda burns down the Force tree in Last Jedi and already has everything she needs or whatever. Like, because the books weren't in there. Oh, I get it.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, that can count as your plot hole for your complaint about the lightsaber. How did she get the crystal to actually make it?
See, that's a pretty deep inquiry, because I think a lot of people don't. Well, I wouldn't say a lot. But, if you're listening to this show, you're probably pretty nerdy, but I would say the casual fan doesn't know about you have to get a crystal for your lightsaber, and it takes on the aura of the person using it, whatever. Yeah,
because the way they've gotten into lightsaber lore is it wrecks so much of the existing movies. Like, okay, so Anakin loses his saber on Mustafar, Obi-Wan takes it, and then he gets another one that's identical to it, but it's red. So he went and got another crystal. and made a clone of his existing saber instead of something new. You know, like it all gets weird if you apply that stuff. So I just went, okay, cool. It's a new saber color. Fine.
Yeah.
So you were mentioning the Leia saber on Achto.
Yeah. Someone in the IGN comments actually explained it to me, but did you guys pick up on how all this happened?
No. I just assumed that somewhere along the line, just Luke took it with him and never did anything.
Yeah,
with it.
They were saying in the movie, the account was that Leia, you know, basically handed her saber over to Luke when she had that premonition about the death of her son.
Yep.
And that's how he ended up in possession of it.
That was my thought, because that's exactly what she did. She gave it to him.
I must have missed that. I still have not actually caught that in the 3 viewings.
Yeah, why would you keep it if you're not going to complete your training and use it? So that would be the only plausible explanation. I want to say, I thought she actually handed it to him, but I'll level with you. I don't like Leia, so I didn't really pay attention to that scene. I know that sounds horrible to say, but I saw it once and I had my fill.
Luke's just being a pissant. If I can't be a Jedi, you can't be a Jedi.
Luke's a whiny baby anyways. That's why I never liked him in the original trilogy. Sorry if you guys are big Luke fans.
Han Solo's my guy.
Yeah, we were always more Han Solo.
It's in the bloodline. Why can't I be a Jedi Master? Yeah, whatever, Anakin.
Yeah, no, I never noticed that. I just kind of, it's one of those things I accepted as, okay. You know, again, once I've seen it a bunch more times, I'll, you know, notice little things like that. Like the other transport when Chewbacca was killed, the people have said you can see the second transport on the screen. I didn't notice it.
I haven't looked for it, so no, I didn't notice either.
Oh, well, you see 2 of them coming down. You definitely see 2 of them, but they purposely shoot it in such a way where you totally think that that's the one that he's on board.
Yeah.
See, that's cool. Like I said, I've heard that you can see it. And I never saw it, so I like that though. I mean, I like that they have an explanation for it rather than just, well, what the hell is that?
Yeah,
like they only see is one transport, it blows up, and then he survived. What the heck? Like, you know, because and with that scene, like we were saying, I wish they would have dragged out Chewbacca's death a little bit longer. Because I know for me, I was like,
you want to talk about an annoying thing? Like, how about when they are on whatever the hell the other planet was, and the Star Destroyer pops up and she senses Chewie is on board?
Yeah.
Like, that could have been the reveal, because that was, 20 minutes or so, maybe after the fact, instead of revealing it 5 minutes later, going, hey, we got a whatever the hell the guy said, a prisoner on the thing, and they show Chewbacca, and it's like, like at least you felt better that he wasn't dead, but it was a real quick reveal that you could have actually held on to for a while. And
yeah, you know, I just realized we got a table of 4 people that totally could not stomach Chewie dying, but all 4 of us, I think, are in agreement that we could have stood a little bit of Chewie dying.
Yeah,
it's like that was the first time in the first viewing I sat there and was like, it was out of nowhere. Like, I kind of saw it coming when they were struggling over the transport, but then when it actually blew up, I was like, oh man, this movie has actual stakes. Like, now I don't know who's safe and who isn't.
I was very dumbfounded for the 5 minutes, jaw open kind of thing, because I was not paying attention to the movie. I was immediately going, how do I explain this to my daughter?
Dude, okay, so
I thought the same thing. I'm like, Maddie's going to be pissed.
Dude, to piggyback on that, so her and I were watching it, and she had her stuffed Build-A-Bear Chewbacca, and Steve was not feeling well, so he went to bed. So her and I were cuddled up in her room. We were watching it, and the second that happened, she threw her stuffed animal. She said, "I'm done. I can't do this anymore." And she's 14, and she's like, "No, I'm done. I don't want to watch it." And I said, "You've watched all of the movies. You cannot stop now because your favorite character is dead." And she said, "I'm done. I can't do." I said, "You are going to do it because you're sitting here with me." I'm like, so sit there and pout and watch it with me, because I wasn't going to give it away.
Yeah, you pulled a Yoda too. You said, the way you phrased it was, you're not going to stop watching this movie because one of your favorite characters is dead, which is true. you're not going to stop watching the movie because one of your favorite characters is dead, because one of your favorite characters wasn't dead.
Right.
Yeah.
So she and she was very happy when it was revealed that Chewbacca was alive, and she grabbed her stuffed animal and was happy again. But man, dude, she was so pissed. I was just like, oh my God. She doesn't show a lot of emotions. She's not a big, like, huggy, cuddly type girl. She really isn't. So to see her mad like that, I was like, wow. I'm like, I've been in her life for 7-8 years, something like that, and I've never seen her that mad before. She was so upset. I was like,
Star Wars will do that to you.
yeah, dude. She was all bets off. She was done. Second Chewbacca was gone, I was like, oh, thank God he's not really dead, because I don't know how I would deal with her for the rest of her life if he died.
It'd be like dealing with me after Han died in The Force Awakens.
Right?
Dude, speaking of favorite characters, JT, how did you feel about, unless I missed it, I don't think the Falcon really did much of anything in this movie.
No, the Falcon was awesome because I got to see Lando flying it again.
But they
And it
really,
was-
It
was
did
there
stuff at the
anything that it really
beginning.
did in the final fight?
Not
It was flying around and kicking ass, but they didn't focus on it
Well,
like
it
they
got
did the other
everybody
movies.
there.
Yeah.
No, it got everybody there because Lando took it to recruit everyone. So
Right.
technically, there would have been nobody there, and they would have all died if he hadn't done that.
You know what that means,
So-
Steve? Technically, he did use it as a space Uber like you and I piloted. Lando's a cab driver. But yeah, no, I was fine with it. I was just
Lando's new job is intergalactic cabbie.
exactly.
Make sure you give me 5 stars.
Yeah, no, I was just happy that they didn't blow it up. But also, seeing Lando flying the Falcon was again one of those callbacks that I thought it was awesome. And Lando's dialogue was perfect. The scenes they had him in were perfect. It wasn't just like he just showed up to save the day. Like they found him in the desert and he was like kind of like in hiding, kind of like being like a covert ops kind of guy. Like, so to have him, and it was really funny because in the trailers and stuff, when you saw him flying it, people had said about the trailers, "Oh man, Billy D. Williams looks like he's really having fun doing this," and it really did look like in the movie. It wasn't just like, yeah, like in the movie, it looked like he was like having a blast. Like, dude, I'm back in the Falcon and I'm in Star Wars. Like that was great for me.
Every line he had, like, I was concerned because we've seen him enough recently where, Billy D is showing his age a bit, and he didn't have that exuberance that the Lando character had. But boy, man, when he shows up in the movie, it's like right back to
Yeah.
perfectly where he picked it. I think he might have actually recaptured the old character better than any of the other legacy actors. Like Han was an older, gruffier version of Han.
AJ.
Han was different. Han was a different character.
He was Han. He was awesome. Move on to the next characters.
Well, Han had to be different. It was a new jacket.
Right.
Right?
No,
And Leia changed her hair.
Absolutely.
Leia changed her hair, so there's that. I didn't even recognize 3PO because of the red arm.
Right? Absolutely.
That's true.
R2 was dusty in a corner.
Yeah, so like, I mean, of all the old actors playing old characters, I thought his was the closest to the version of the character that we saw last.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I would.
But I thought that again. I thought it was kind of cool.
No, I like
Because-
that. I'm saying that's a positive.
By the way, I apologize. I wasn't going like cutting you off. That was me clearing my throat.
No, you're fine.
I thought it was cool because like everyone else did have that change, so it was kind of that warm fuzzy nostalgia to have him just be Lando.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
cool. It was
Well, it was refreshing because every other legacy character came back and, well, the age had worn on them and, they were weary from the fight. And it was nice to just get a character that's like, no, I'm the same dude I was when you saw me last. Let's go have some fun.
Yeah, I loved it. And that's one thing. Speaking of Lando, because I brought up the dialogue, I really thought the dialogue in this movie was great. And I have to say, throughout the trilogy, it was great. And I think I'm noticing it because my wife, out of nowhere, the other day just got on a Star Wars kick, so she's watching all of them. So we're going through the whole thing right now.
Oh, we did that too.
Dude, this came out of nowhere. I was upstairs playing Fallen Order on Sunday, and all of a sudden I hear stuff downstairs, and I'm like, I hit pause. I'm like, that's The Force Awakens. So I'm like, cool. So a couple hours later, I go downstairs. She's got The Last Jedi on. So then the last couple of days before we went to bed, we were watching Phantom Menace, and last night we started Attack of the Clones. So it's crazy, but we're watching the prequels now, and the difference in the dialogue is, I still love the prequels, don't get me wrong, but the difference between an actual dialogue writer and George Lucas doing it is very stark.
Oh yeah.
So
I loved the way Rey, Finn, and Poe were just like squabbling back and forth at each other.
Yeah.
For like the first 25 minutes of this movie.
Yep.
It was so much fun.
I mean, that first scene in like the ice cave was like really cool. I mean, like I said, there's so much to enjoy.
Speaking of the ice cave, I was probably on like my third view before I realized that the little green dude up there was voiced by Mark Hamill.
Yes.
Really? You didn't know that?
No, had no clue. But now that I watch it and I hear it again, I'm like,
Wait,
yeah,
the guy who got beheaded?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's
Yes.
totally his
It
voice.
is.
Like
Yep.
now that you next time you watch it, you're gonna go, yeah, it's totally his voice.
Yeah.
Huh.
Never caught on until I read it and then watched it again the other night, and I'm like, yeah, it's clearly Mark Hamill.
See, I'm wondering if he voiced an alien, and I'll have to look it up, if he voiced an alien in The Force Awakens, because he did. He
did one in episode 8.
Episode 8, he was the little drunk alien that thought BB-8 was a slot machine.
Okay.
That was so cute.
That was
I'm
Mark
sorry.
Hamill. Yeah.
That part.
So, and now he was this guy, in episode 9. But yeah, I thought the dialogue was great. I mean, it really nothing was cheesy. I thought there wasn't anything that was over the top. Like it made sense, and
What about Han and Ben with the I know?
Oh, that was
Yeah.
perfect.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That was so perfect.
Like him calling him dad finally, and him,
Yeah.
Han just going, I know. It was like, again, another thing I didn't catch first viewing. Like, I know he said it, but I didn't connect it. And then it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. See, I mean, and this is something that I think is so cool. Like, first of all, the Rise of Skywalker for me made the sequel trilogy great. Like, because I was like, Force Awakens is my least favorite because we've been over that. Love The Last Jedi. So if this movie would have been not good, if I would have been unimpressed, then the whole sequel trilogy to me would be like, oh man, damn it. But I loved it. And for me, it tied everything together. So now I really can't wait for it to come out in physical form because I want to like binge the trilogy. And I love that. And the other thing that it did for me was it actually really got me into the Kylo Ren character.
Yes.
Because in the Force Awakens, I couldn't have cared less. I came out of that one going, that's the new Vader? Like, that
Yeah.
guy's a total wuss. And then, I mean,
Yeah,
he
after
was-
episode 7, it was like, okay, so the whiny little brat is the new Sith Lord? All right.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And then he was cool in The Last Jedi, but it was kind of like, okay, where's this going? And this movie just, that's why I don't get involved in any of the Twitter or Facebook arguments about the character and what they should have done with Ben Solo and all this crap, because it's like, I just thought it was great. It brought the character full circle. It made the whole arc make sense for me. I mean, this movie really tied everything together for me in a very satisfactory way. And I think that's why I like it
was
so much.
Lebowski's rug.
It really
Yeah.
tied the room together. But, I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I mean, I think that's why I like it so much, because I was afraid that it wouldn't tie everything up satisfactorily for me. But for me, it did. And so if there are plot holes or imperfections and they rushed over a few things, I don't care, because it had 42 years of stuff to tie up. And for me, it did a fine job.
So on that point, it's not the ending I wanted for the saga. I wanted Rey to turn to the dark side and to create a new order with Kylo Ren, because I love bad guys, but that was never going to happen.
Could you imagine if they did that?
Oh my God.
We talked about that. Like,
Could
if they have the dark ending.
Could you even have, dude, that would have been so amazing. But I mean, I knew that that's not what was going to happen.
Credits roll and the First Order theme plays instead of the usual fan.
Yeah.
Right,
Uh-huh.
right. So that is the ending I wanted for the series, but it's unrealistic. I think the ending we got is the ending that the saga needed. I thought it was really heartbreaking that he finally made the conversion and they defeated the bad guy, and that kiss that they shared at the end, like I was not a Reylo fan, honest to God, not at all. But this movie made me a fan of the two of them together, with their Force connection, with that Force dyad that they have. So I thought it was really heartbreaking that literally he gives his life for hers. They get one kiss. The look he gives her afterwards is just like that smile, like pure bliss, so happy. And then he dies. I'm like, oh Lord. So it's really, it's sad. I mean, but really, could he have lived a life if he had survived. If for any reason the Force healing didn't kill him, what kind of life could he have lived? He was flipping Kylo Ren. He killed how many people?
Right.
You know, like even no matter what redemption arc you give him, there's no way he could have lived with himself, probably dealing with all the crap he did. And who's going to accept him aside from flipping Rey? If we're being honest, right? Like,
No, you're absolutely right.
I thought it mirrored Vader, and that's what he always wanted to do. Vader died trying to kill the Emperor, and in episode 7 he said, I will finish what you started. So he became Vader, but actually did what he set out to do. And so I thought that was
Not
awesome.
knowing, well, he fulfilled his promise, but not realizing what that would actually entail.
Exactly. I will say this: the only reason I'm glad that he died is because of the kiss. I did not want them to hook up because I'm like, this is not The Notebook. This is not some rom-com. Like, stop with the heroes have to hook up bullshit.
Yeah, I'm not on Team Raylo at all.
Yeah,
I thought the kiss was totally unnecessary.
I don't want to piss people off to listen to the podcast by saying this. I hate that stupid Raylo thing. It is like, again, this is not a Nicholas Sparks novel. God damn it! It's Star Wars. Stop with the two hot young people have to hook up and have babies. Stop it! Stop it! Raylo is stupid. I've been wanting
Thank
to
you.
say that for so long.
Rogue
That's
One
fine.
did it right. Sit on a beach and get torched together.
Yes. Or hug. They hugged.
Yeah,
they
they
didn't
hugged.
kiss. So if they hadn't kissed and then he died, I'd be like, oh, dude, but they could have gone on adventures. But now because they kissed, which inferred a hookup, I'm like, good, croak, bastard. Not to be blunt. I hate that idea because it's not Star Wars.
it's fine. It's fine.
No offense
You're
to you.
right. No, totally. Trust me. I see both sides of it in my newsfeed. Trust me. I get the people that like the whole Raylo hookup and then the people that hate it and say it's horrible. Honestly, I think it really was there for the female Star Wars fans. And I know that sounds horrible
agree.
to say.
I
And you're
agree.
right. Star Wars itself is not a romance thing. But you know what? That's how you make the girls watching the shit happy. You put the kiss in there between the two characters that had chemistry, and then you kill him.
You could consider it a
that's the way it
callback
works.
too. I mean, Return of the Jedi was the first time that you got lip to lip kiss between Han and Leia.
Very true.
Like there was.
Was it?
Okay, well, yes,
Empire.
Empire, yes, but what I mean is, it was
the
very
happy
it was
ending.
like in Return of the Jedi, they could have just been making out the whole damn time because it was understood that was their thing.
Yeah.
And they kept it very subtle, even though they right off, who are you? Someone who loves you. Like it was right there in front of the movie, and they didn't make it all gross through the whole thing. It was like.
Yeah.
No, like it took until the end when she was like, listen, dummy, here, I'm going to plant this on you so you know how I feel about you. Because he was all
Yeah.
like, oh, you're going off with Luke now, I guess, whatever. So,
But I mean-
it was kind of a callback, but yeah, I don't think it was necessary.
It's not overbearing, though, is the other thing. Like, they don't try to force it on you. They don't ram it down your throat through all three movies in any way, shape, or form. But once you know that, and you know about their connection, and you know that they end up kissing, when you rewatch it, you can totally see, in my opinion, that it was planned from the beginning. And you can totally see that the whole time that they, in the Rise of Skywalker, he's not trying to hurt her. Like that, all of it, most of his stuff is all like defensive against her because she's a hot, emotional mess. Just attacking and whatnot. Like he's not
I liked
striking
that,
to
by the
hurt
way. That
or
was
kill
cool.
her.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Best Ray we've had so far.
One of my buddies brought up an interesting point the other day. He said, "Did you notice in that fight that?" And it makes sense with Rey being a Palpatine, but it was like how Kylo Ren was the calm one, moving smoothly like a Jedi, and she was the one kind of like lashing out of like raw emotion. I was like, I didn't notice that, but that's really cool.
I did. No, I absolutely noticed that. She was a hot flipping mess, dude. And he was just calm, cool, collected because his goal was to turn her and to rule the galaxy with her. Like literally, that was his goal, that the two of them were going to create a new world order. So, I mean, like I said, being a chick, I absolutely loved it and ate up the sappy romance crap. I'm like, that is so awesome. But
I thought it made it kind of, God, I don't want to say reductive, but like it made it common, right? Like if they hadn't hooked up, then I'd be like, okay, their connection is so deep. It's not just the typical, well, I'm attracted to them, so now we're going to be a thing. Like, I thought avoiding the obvious romantic hookup would have made it more special of a connection.
I could see that.
That's a guy answer. No offense. Like, girls want that kiss, and that's why I said.
Wait a minute, how is that a guy answer? You know how many?
It is a guy answer.
I'm sorry, 3 men in the room. How many of you have ever heard out of a woman's mouth something friend zone-ish, like, I care about him too much as a friend to risk ruining that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like that's kind of what I was thinking about the Rey and Kylo thing, was like, yeah, they got a special thing, and don't mess it up with romance. Just accept that it's special in it transcends romance.
Yeah, but you're still not making the woman happy. Why do you think women have trashy romance novels? Because they fucking want that stuff, dude.
Well, men never invented friend zoning, so I don't know which one you're talking about here, because you do both.
Well, yeah.
Sorry, I'm projecting a little bit.
but she did love him as Ben Solo. She didn't love him as Kylo Ren. She loved him as Ben Solo. And that's why she kissed him. She wouldn't have kissed him if she didn't.
Isn't the stereotype that all women want the bad boy? Maybe she did love Kylo Ren.
No, she did. Well, she did, but
maybe she
wanted
killed him.
She would have been really bored with him very quickly. Actually.
Maybe she can heal, but she also took his life. Maybe she killed him with the kiss because she's like, oh, I want that badass in the mask.
Mm-hmm.
Possible. Write a fanfic about it.
If they would have done it, do you think she would have been like, leave the mask on, leave the mask on?
Oh, Lord. Okay. So can we... Okay, do either one of you want to comment on the end? Because I really want to go back to the plot holes part of the conversation.
This is going to be a 2-part episode. We're going to have to come back to this next time.
I'm sorry.
I do want to say one more thing about the Reylo thing. If I offended anybody, I apologize. If you like Reylo, that's awesome. I'm not disputing your opinion. I have no problem if you like it. That's fine. Me, I hate it. But I'm not dissing people that...
I don't hate it. I just thought it was unnecessary.
I just think it's a dumb concept, but that's only my opinion. And if your opinion is that it's awesome, then that's beautiful. That's, difference of opinion.
I will say that the way that it seemed like it was going, like way we thought it was going after the first 2 movies, it didn't play that way. So I was kind of okay with it, because I mean, we all read some of the stuff, like the panels at Celebration of the weird crap that the Reylos were on 2 years ago and stuff. Like, if that would have came to fruition, so
I don't think people understand when they're putting their ideas online how bad of a movie it would actually be. A lot of these people with their concepts of, like, you know what they should have done? Like, no, they probably shouldn't have done that.
Right.
Like, there's so many different things I read. I'm like, just put that in the movie and picture it just coming to a grinding halt, and you being the one in the theater going, oh, this is awesome. This movie is so good. And everyone else going, what the shit is that?
Yeah, like I tweeted about it, the other day, that there was people online arguing with John Boyega about how his character was in the movie, like saying that he was wrong about stuff. And it's like, oh, I'm sorry, the guy that played Finn doesn't know what the hell was going on, but you, random Twitter guy with 71 followers, you clearly know, and your idea should have been the one on the screen, because you clearly work for Lucasfilm, and your idea just got passed over, right?
Yeah,
like, you're not some idiot that's complaining about not making $15 an hour while screwing up my McDonald's order or anything like that.
Let's not jump to conclusions.
Yeah, right. But yeah, your idea should be the one that's used, and the guy that played Finn has no clue what the hell he's talking about Finn's character. Okay, like, continue with your life. Go on.
He's got all the backstory from Lucasfilm. He's got every single piece of Finn knowledge they're ever going to put to print or on celluloid, but he doesn't understand.
Like, I like how John Boyega was just roasting people, and then he's just like, no,
nasty.
He's just like, no, that's not how it went. I was there. Okay.
you could tell they're done making these movies, because he finally went nuclear on some fans. He went real nuclear on some fans. That was like, people couldn't take a joke, and he just went at him. I was like, well,
I did read some of those comments, and they totally deserved every single one that he gave them, to be honest with you. I was like, man.
It makes me happier to know that John Boyega is clearly a fan of our podcast. Yeah. I mean, we posted the picture for Celebration last year.
We've got it.
It's true.
I mean,
he might be free now. We should ask for an interview.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing started with that lay the pipe comment that he made, which was obviously sarcasm. It was just like a goofy joke, and then everyone takes it seriously, and I'm like, guys, he's kidding. and he immediately just roasted him back. I'm like, good. Like, someone's got to do this. Like, take a joke, man. He's not serious. He's not being purposely misogynistic because he followed it up with something crappier. And it's like, you're not going to do that.
Right.
I mean, what the heck? So, all right. So before we get out of here, because we've already been going for an hour, you said you wanted to talk about the ending.
Yeah, our plot holes. So
we've already done that.
No, I didn't get to talk about the one I wanted to talk about.
Well, since I'm the host and you're talking over me, on that note, we'll close.
So the only one that actually bothers me that I haven't been able to figure out or find an explanation or talk one out for is the lightsaber battle on the Death Star. Rey takes Kylo's ship and everyone else flies off in the Falcon. So how did Kylo get off of the Death Star or that planet for that matter?
Easy. We already talked about Lando being the intergalactic Uber.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, no.
But
So
He dropped off Kylo for picking everybody else up.
right?
Kylo pulled out the app and and the Falcon comes down and Lando just looks over and he goes, "What are you doing here?"
Right?
You know it's going to cost extra. We're on prime time now because I got to get to a battle.
Right? But honestly, like everybody talks about
Surge price. That's what I was trying. Yeah.
Everybody talks about all these plot holes in the movie, and honestly, that's the only one I could think of that was really blaringly like.
So
I
I've
really
read.
can't figure it out.
There's got to be something we're missing because I don't think they would leave something that obvious out there.
I think they would. I mean, these people are human. They are fallible. Remember, episode 7, Chewbacca walks right past Leia and goes and deals with Finn's injured ass instead of like, hey, sorry, Han Solo just died. You know,
Well,
clearly they do miss some things, but
forget about that. How about how the hell Kylo gets out of the damn building in episode 7 to meet Finn and Rey outside after the explosion? How the hell do you get out there that quick?
It's explained like that tweet I sent you guys at the end of Return of the Jedi.
There are a lot of people that managed to escape. Yeah, whatever.
The way he got out of there that fast and got ahead of Finn and Rey out in the forest is the same way he got off the Death Star.
He did the Force run like Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon in Phantom Menace. It's a standoff and they zip off screen like he did that.
Finn and Rey are walking through the forest. You just see Kylo Naruto run through the trees past them. The other side.
No, I read somewhere that Kylo salvaged a TIE fighter. Like, I don't know if it was just like hanging out in the Death Star and it just wasn't wrecked or how, but
well, there was like
allegedly he sets
TIE
down on Exegol.
So
he sets down on Exegol in a standard TIE fighter is what I read. I don't remember seeing that, but someone said that was the thing.
I'll have to watch it again and look for it and see if I can see.
I know there was clearly a wrecked TIE fighter on the wreckage, so maybe there was.
He fixed it real quick.
Yeah, maybe he fixed one, or maybe there was one that was still all right sitting in there, and he just
he flew it all janky, and it shows him puttering through space like sparks popping off at like the Sanford and Son truck.
Well, while we're on the subject of Kylo Ren's ships,
smoke and backfiring and stuff,
he comes across the screen. Sorry, Jacob.
I mean, while we're talking about Kylo's ships, I guess he's got at least 2 of those like specially modified TIE fighters because Rey done cut the wing off one.
He's a supreme leader. Of course he's got multiple ships.
And another, damn it. I'm segueing into the negativity stuff. That whole scene was really cool that they had in the trailer. And, you know, obviously that was his intro to Pisana, was screaming across the desert, like right along the ground. Why? What the hell? Like, why would you bring your TIE fighter in and land like 3 miles away so you can come rocketing across like at 2-foot altitude? And then Rey's like, okay, well, I'm going to see you and I'm going to like do my running thing away from you. And then I'm going to jump and do this. Like, the whole thing made no goddamn sense at all. It was really cool for the trailer, but it really made no sense at all.
It was kind of silly. I mean, if he was trying to kill her.
He wasn't, though.
Yeah, what was he trying to do? That's my point.
How are you not trying to kill somebody if you're trying to run over him with a TIE fighter?
He wasn't going to do that, though. He made it clear when he was talking
a flyby like Top Gun?
Yeah.
He made it clear when he found out her heritage, he wanted to get her. Even though Palpatine said he was hey, I want you to kill her.
By hitting her with a TIE fighter?
He wasn't going to actually hit her, though. I guarantee you he wouldn't have if it
He was just
going to graze her.
He was just going to thump into her, and then you see the black and white wasted screen from Grand Theft Auto.
Right? I don't really have an answer for why, but I know he wasn't trying to kill her. He wanted to get her and kill him, and he wanted to pick up Rey, convert her, go kill Palpatine, and take over the universe on his own. So he wasn't trying to kill her. Maybe he was trying to get in front of her. I don't know. I didn't put any thought into it because I thought it was so cool to watch her cut the
That's what I thought too.
I literally put no thought into that entire scene because I thought that was such a cool thing. And then the Force lightning throws you for such a loop.
Yeah.
The Sith lightning, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's so cool that literally that was just like distant memory at that point, because I was like, and then Chewbacca's dead, so then you're really like, oh my god, what is going on? So I never even gave that scene a second thought.
It went right past me because we saw it in the teaser trailer, and I watched that thing so many times, it just, my brain shut off while that was taking place in the movie. So I'm like, oh, I've seen this.
Oh, see, I watched the trailer like twice. I don't do that because I just want to go in and just enjoy everything. So I'll watch like a trailer once or twice, and that's it.
What if he was trying to kill her? And then, I mean, the whole turn happened with the Han Solo moment. Like, what if up until that point of the movie, he was still trying to be like, F you, if you're not going to turn.
He wasn't. When he talks to Palpatine, when Palpatine's like, oh, why is she still alive? He goes, she will not be a Jedi. He doesn't say anything about killing her. And when they are on that planet where they're going to see Babu Frick, and one of the other guys goes, oh, do you want us to nerf the planet? Basically. And he's like, does the finger point. He could have just nerfed the planet to kill her if he wanted to kill her. He didn't want to kill her. He wanted to turn her to the dark side because he knew how powerful she was, and the two of them were going to rule the galaxy. And
when they were doing the force projection thing again, he even said, the next time I extend my hand, you will take it.
Okay.
So he was already playing that game. So
okay.
That whole thing was all murky because remember, the whole movie starts with Kylo hunting down Palpatine, going, I'm going to destroy you. No one else is going to challenge my authority in this galaxy. And then it switches over to, okay, I'll bring you Rey.
Well, because he wasn't going to. Once he found out she was a Palpatine, that's when he said, oh, no, I can't just do this. I need to get her, and we're going to kill him together, and we're going to control this entire fleet, and we are going to make the galaxy what I want it to be. That's exactly when it happened.
Which spins it back right to what one of you guys said earlier to, segue into the end of the show, is that he turned into Vader. Because that's exactly what Vader said to Luke, was that we will overthrow the Emperor together and we will rule the galaxy as father and son. And so
that's where this whole movie left me. Like you were talking earlier about what this movie did for like the sequel trilogy and the saga. I think that this actually is a very Return of the Jedi capper. Like the whole sequel trilogy feels not in like a ripoff way, but just feels a lot like the original trilogy, where you get the fun adventure in the first one, you get the total twisty opposite direction film in the second one, and then the third one has to deal with bits of both to wrap it all up.
Yeah. I think
they inadvertently made the same story arc. I don't think they really intentionally made three movies that kind of fit the same archetype. I think that's just narrative structure and how it goes. But they really did manage to echo the original trilogy in a good way, because it was not so overtly intentional.
Yep, I agree.
Totally agree. All right. Well, on that note, we will close up shop for tonight. I have a very quick shout out before we get to all the reads and stuff like that. I want to say thanks to they aren't listening, but some of my friends that know them are. So Jason and Michelle Miller, they showed up to my New Year's Eve show, and they said, we got a couple things for you. Hopefully you'll like them. So they proceed to hand me the Sphero BB-8, like mint condition, brand new. And then they proceed to hand me the original trilogy on VHS, the gold set.
Oh, cool.
Sealed.
Wow.
Unopened. And they're like, is that cool? I'm like, oh, yeah, it's cool. You don't find those like unopened a lot unless you're like a pretty, a collector. And so that's awesome. So I want to thank them for that. They're very, very generous gifts, and I really appreciate them. They're up in my man cave, as I told them they would be. So,
Thanks, everyone, for listening to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. We are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. Don't forget, you can go to shop.nerfherdercouncil.com to get customized Nerf Herder Council swag. AJ's got several designs up there, and they all look great, so go pick yourself up a t-shirt or a hoodie or something like that. You can find us on all kinds of different podcast apps: Spreaker, Stitcher, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, CastBox, Spotify, all those good places. Our website is nerfherdercouncil.com. All of our episodes are available on YouTube if you like to listen to stuff there. You can hit us up on Facebook. Just look up the Nerf Herder Council. You can email us directly, nerfherdercouncil@gmail.com. And we are active on our Twitter page, which is at NHC Podcast. So until next time, I am your host. He's AJ.
Who are you?
Oh, that's right. Oops. I am your host, JT, at Dog Pound Jedi. He is AJ.
At Drake Adams 579.
She's Gwen.
Adios, Tokidoki.
Hey, Steve.
At JSteve1005.
And we'll catch you next time.
This bucket of bolts is never gonna get us past that blockade.
This bucket's got a few surprises left in her. Plus, me and Chewie are on it. Ain't that right, Chewie?
Hell yeah, you my Nerf herder.
You my Nerf herder.